What if I told you that the very season that you've been calling too late might actually be the season that God has been preparing for you all along? I mean, many women have spent decades raising children, building careers, nurturing our marriage and our relationships, caring for parents, serving everyone else, and then one day they wake up asking themselves, who am I? How did I get here? What happened? Hi, I'm Pamela, and that was me not that long ago. I've worked in healthcare for over 40 years. I have nurtured a 27-year-old marriage, raised 3 young men, and now I am helping to care for my mother with dementia. Just a few responsibilities that have kept me pretty busy throughout the years. I was doing all the things I was supposed to do, just to simply work hard and help provide financially for my family. And please don't get me wrong, I am so incredibly grateful for every season and that God gives me the grace to embrace every season. I am very thankful for each chapter. But one day, not that long ago, I looked in the mirror and I had tears streaming down my face as I asked myself, how the heck did you get here? I mean, I was working 10, 12-hour days, coming home tired, stressed out, overwhelmed, grumpy, and just too exhausted to really spend quality time with my family. After dinner, I would just collapse on the couch, watching a couple of game shows, and head to bed right after that and just hope that I got enough rest to be able to do it all over again the next day. That day in the mirror, I was sobbing and just asked God, I know I'm doing the things that I need to do, but what about my dreams and my goals? I've spent years helping everyone else reach their dreams, reach their goals, but mine are over here dusty on a shelf waiting to be revived. But I didn't know where to start. I felt like it was too late. That's a funny thing because I had been in this very place before over a decade ago. So why did I still have such stinking unbeliefs? We're not alone in that. There are many people, many women who struggle with the thought of, it's too late for me. A while ago, it's the very reason that I sprinted down the aisle in my 30s to the wrong man. I was tired of waiting. I wanted what all my friends had, a husband, they were having babies, they lived in beautiful homes. I didn't stay married to that man. It was the wrong man. I should have sprinted to my father instead of sprinting down the aisle to him. But after that divorce, I thought, okay, I can be a single mom. I can adopt my children. I always knew that I wanted to adopt. That's another story. I'll be sharing about that later. But God, He introduced me to my now husband, John, just a few years later after that divorce. And we knew that we wanted to start a family right away. 40 was creeping up on me pretty darn fast. We were married in July, and by October, I was pregnant with our first child. But in December, we found out that child no longer had a heartbeat. That story repeated itself 2 other times. The last pregnancy ended when I was 40 years old. I could hear Big Ben just a ticking louder than ever. Was I ever going to have my dreams of being a mother fulfilled? God answered that question in a way that was far greater than anything I could have ever imagined. 3 trips around the world. We had our 3 boys adopted at ages 2, 3, and 4 years old. God is so good. They are incredible young men now. Throughout Scripture, God has often calls and equips people long before He promotes them. And here's a few of the women that I can relate to in my very own personal story. First, there's Rahab from a life of sin in Jericho. Rahab hid Israelite spies. She trusted God, and her faith saved her family and secured her place in Jesus' genealogy, showing that redemption rewrites every story. Then there's Elizabeth, who was barren for years. Elizabeth faced societal judgment, but she remained joyful and faithful. I can't say that I exactly remained joyful during those years, but I certainly can relate to Elizabeth in the societal judgment that she faced. Those questions for people, well-meaning, of course. When are you going to get married? When are y'all going to start a family? When are you going to have children? But God blessed Elizabeth with John the Baptist, who, as we know, was a key figure in the Messiah's ministry and proving that God's timing is perfect, even when we have to wait. Then there's Esther, who was an orphan, exiled in Persia. Esther was chosen queen. She hesitated at first, but she later risked her life to save her people. And that shows that God's calling can sometimes come through unexpected positions. And then Hannah, the last example that I'll share with you, who was a devoted mother who prayed fervently through years of being barren. Hannah's faith led to the birth of Samuel, who was a prophet and a judge. Her persistence and her trust in God's timing brought about a lasting legacy. One of the greatest lessons that I've learned from these women in the Bible is that God rarely works on our timetable. He often uses seasons of waiting and growing for healing and preparation before he reveals the purpose that he's been shaping in us all along. These women's stories remind us that our past does not disqualify us, but it prepares us. God is always at work behind the scenes, even when we cannot see him. He's developing our character before he opens the next door. He prepares us long before he promotes us. You know, there's a couple of, some of the top reasons that women feel stuck or feel like it's too late is because we've become so responsible that we stop listening to ourselves. We confuse our responsibilities with what our purpose is. Fear is what creeps in and convinces us, oh, it's too late for me. We tend to believe that our age has disqualified us. But the good news is that God does not call the qualified. God qualifies the called. You know, I found too that many women have tied their identity to the people that we serve instead of who God created us to be. But the truth is, our purpose doesn't retire. Our calling doesn't expire. Our dreams just simply do not have an expiration date. We trust God in the timing. So I have a question for you. If you felt that nudge, that dream that just keeps coming back to you, or maybe you've forgotten what that dream is, or you thought that, oh, well, that was just in passing. You just really thought it was too late. And maybe you think that God has forgotten about your dreams. But what if God hasn't forgotten your dream because he was never finished preparing you for it? What if that dream that just won't leave you alone, that keeps stirring in your heart, isn't a distraction, but it's an invitation from God to step into the purpose that he created you for? I'm going to ask you to do a little homework. It's going to be fun, so just get ready. I'm going to ask you to journal. Now, if you've never journaled, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. If I had not journaled during our adoption journey, then I would not have been able to see God's fingerprints all over our journey, and I would not have been able to go back and write a book about that. So before we begin, I just want to help you create a space so you can truly reflect. I know it's hard for some of you, but try to find a quiet place where you're not going to be interrupted if at all possible. Turn off your notifications, minimize your distractions. If it helps you to slow down and just settle your heart, light a candle if that helps you. I want you to grab a fresh notebook. I like to use different colored pens and highlighters so I can mark any words or scriptures or impressions that stand out as I pray and as I reflect. If you prefer, you can do it digitally. You can type it out. That's perfectly fine. But I would advise you to close out other tabs on your computer. Give yourself this gift of being fully present when you do this. You will find that the enemy is going to come in and he's going to try to steal those thoughts and distract you. So if you have random thoughts of your to-do list that pops up into your mind, happens to me all the time, don't go chasing them and go down a rabbit hole. Just simply have another notepad ready to write those things down on a separate piece of paper so you can come back later. You can address those later. But right now, this time is going to belong to you and God. This is your moment to dream and listen and to reflect. I want this for you so desperately. So as you spend this time praying and reflecting, I don't want you to put a lot of additional pressure on yourself to have some dramatic experience. Yes, it can be a beautiful thing when you hear God. But God sometimes just speaks through scripture that suddenly just takes on new meaning. Sometimes it's just a gentle nudge, a recurring thought, a sense of peace, a memory, or just you're gaining clarity as you spend more and more time with Him. Every relationship is different and it's unique. So just start learning to recognize God's voice. That's going to be part of your journey. So now, take a deep breath. There are no right or wrong answers here. Just be honest. Let your pen move or let your fingers type out. Don't judge what comes out. You might be surprised what God has been waiting to reveal to your heart. And now ask yourself this question. Just one question, but just sit with it. If I believe that it wasn't too late, if there were no time barriers and there were no financial barriers, what would I begin to do? Just remember, God prepares us long before He promotes us. And if He's placed a dream in your heart, don't ignore it. Nurture it. Pray over it. And trust Him with it. Each week, we're going to take one more step toward the life that God has been preparing for you all along. And if you'd like to continue this journey with me, I would love for you to subscribe and follow along. I'm going to be here to encourage you. Yes, I am going to challenge you, and I'm going to help you awaken those dreams as you step into all that God has called you to be. So until next time, keep listening, keep trusting, keep saying yes to God's invitation.